sure we're stuck here. All right, cool. All right, so let's start off laying down on your back, and you're gonna give your knees a big hug into your chest. So guys, we're going for about 20 minutes of just moving around here, going through big ranges of motion, just kind of moving, rolling, stretching, that kind of stuff. So we're just gonna start off on the ground, give your knees a hug, and we're just kind of nice and light rolling around. You can roll in a circle, but just kind of doing a little egg roll. So when you wake up in the morning, the discs in your back are full of fluid because they hydrate throughout the evening. And so when you get up, if you go right into heavy exercise within the first 30 minutes to an hour before like standing up, moving around, that kind of stuff, the discs are full, and so they need a little bit of time to, like, when you stand up, the discs will sort of compress a little bit. And so we're just sort of like real gently massaging this in here and making sure back's ready to go, spine's ready to rock. Okay, so a little challenge here. You're gonna try to relax your head on the floor, all right? If you need a pillow or something under you, that would be good. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna give your knees a nice tight hug. We're gonna roll to one side without using your elbow as a prop. You're gonna get as far as you can on one side. Try to keep your elbow off the ground, and then use core tightness to come back to the middle, and then you'll just roll to the other side. So we're trying to roll as far as you can, squeeze and come back. Just going as far as you can without using your elbow as a kickstand, and come back. If you fall over on your side, you've gone too far. All right, so let's take knees and just move around in a circle here. So you're leaving your hips on the ground, just moving your knees around in a circle. And we'll switch directions. And good, giving your knees a hug. We're gonna start to roll a little bit here. So we're gonna roll up, try to roll up and get to the top, and pause and balance without tapping your heels to the ground. So you're gonna rock back and rock forward without touching your knees or touching your heels to the ground. And when you're ready, just to get a little core warm up, you can let go of your knees. So the same idea. Now we're getting up to the top. We've got heels floating off the ground, belly strong. And last one, come on up. And good. All right, so let's fold one leg in, one leg out. So here we've got a hip stretch going on. We're trying to get two cheeks on the ground. Two cheeks, and the shin that's in front of you should be on the ground completely. So I'd say that's the priority. The priority is to get the knee that's in front of you, of the leg that's in front of you, down to the ground, and then see if you can get two hip bones down to the ground. All right, from here, let's look over whatever leg is in front, look over that shoulder. You're gonna kind of walk yourself around, looking behind you. And then let's look over the other shoulder. Walking yourself around. First side again, back to the original side, looking around behind you. And turning back the other way. Good, let's switch sides, or switch which hip is in, which hip is out. So the whole idea behind this Thursday mornings are typically primal circuits. The whole idea behind the primal class is we just go through human movements. So like stuff that humans should be able to do. It's usually a little bit lighter, but it's still, especially when we have a lot of implements in that, it's still pretty can be challenging in a different kind of way. But what it ends up being, you sort of feel like this movement massage at the end, like I don't know, it seems to be just really like healthy, like nutritious kind of movement rather than just going and pumping iron or you know, blasting away at some fitness classes. Let's walk yourself around now. You're gonna look over that shoulder. And we'll turn the other way. Back again. And the last one. All right, from here, so this can be, you can use a little assistance from your hands back here if you need to, but we're gonna try to keep your feet on the ground right where they are. Your feet are gonna stay glued, but your knees are gonna pick up like windshield wipers and flip to the other side. So a lot of times it'll help here too if you need to use your fingertips for the first couple just to prop yourself up. We're rolling from side to side. And then once you feel like you've gotten a little more stretched out, you can go hands-free with it. If you're under 10 years old, you should be able to do this. Okay, so we're still just rolling back and forth here. And good, whatever side you're on right now, let's stick right there. And you're gonna take your chest, whatever knee is in front of you, whatever leg is in front of you, you're gonna take your chest over that leg and put your elbows on the floor. So we're just getting a stretch here in your hip. If you're not feeling a stretch in your hip, you can grab your foot, that leg that's in front of you, grab that foot and bring your foot out farther forward. So you get a bigger rotation on the hip. Should be able to get 2 elbows to the ground here. While you're here, take a couple deep breaths. As you take your deep breath, your belly should be pushing into your thigh. And good, come on up, let's switch to the other side. Either with or without your hands. Just rolling over to the other side. And leaning over that leg. Again, we're looking to get 2 elbows on the ground. If you need more of a stretch, you can push your foot farther away from your body. And good. Okay, so we're going to get into a little bit of work here. A lot of this ground-based stuff is a lot of like hip mobility and that kind of stuff, but we can also turn it into mobility plus stability. So to work on a little bit of hip stability here, we're going to be in this 90-90 position. So, you know, 90 degrees across here, 90 degrees back. From here, you're going to shift your shoulders forward, and you're just going to come up onto 2 knees. Everything's going to pretty much stay where it is. And then we're going to rest back down to the floor. All right, so let's do that 5 times. Should be nice and controlled. That's 2. So we're working on not only helping your hips be more mobile, we're also working on helping them be more stable. All right, so let's flip to the other side. Same idea. So if you need a little help from your fingertips here, that's okay. If you're feeling this in your knee as you come up, so we shouldn't be feeling this in your knee, it should feel like work or stretch in your hip. So let's do 5 times, lifting up. You may notice you have a side that's better, one side that's better than the other. Up and down 5 times. Okay, so from here we're going to work into one more step. Same start. Same start. We'll be here. We're going to come up, and then your back leg is going to come through so that you end up on one knee or half kneeling. Right? So then to go back, you're going to take that same leg, wrap it around behind your foot, and come back to the same position. Let's try 3 of those. Let's try 3 of those, nice and slow and controlled. So this should look nice and smooth and slow. Nothing should have to be rushed or like thrown into position. So when you sit back down, you should be back in the same position that you started from. Coming up. Good. So that's 3. Let's switch to the other side. Remember, we're going to go to the floor. Flip those knees over. Good. Then we come up. And when you go back down, that knee is going to wrap around behind that foot. So we come up. Good. Okay. So now we're going to add one more step to that. We're going to start from the floor again. The goal would be for all of this to be hands-free. So same thing. We come up. That knee comes forward. Now we're going to stand. Then that same leg goes back. We wrap your foot around. And we're back down to the floor. So let's do 3 of those. Standing all the way up. Should be nice and smooth and controlled. Should also be starting to get a little bit of a sweat here. Do 3 each side. Once you finish 3 on one side, go ahead and flip your knees over. And we'll do 3 on the other side. These are these kind of skills, like these kind of movement skills. This is what just allows you to sort of smoothly be able to, take a knee or get up off the floor. A lot of those things are actually a lot more challenging than people would expect. So it's good to have these kinds of skills. Good to kind of work on this sort of stuff. And what we're doing today is we're just going through some mobility drills and that to begin with. And then we'll get into a little circuit of 3 exercises, and then we'll call it a day. Right? So next thing, so we're going to work on a little squat position. If you have, if your body doesn't allow you to, with flat feet, squat down and be in this sort of potty position here with your chest up, if your body doesn't allow you to do that, you can find something that raises your heels. Maybe it's a couch cushion. Maybe it's if you have weight plates at home. Maybe it's the heels of your shoes. Like if we have shoes here, you can use the heel of your shoes or slippers as heel lifts, right? And so then you just sit right down, right? So we're going to sit into this position here. And we're going to do about 5 of these squats where we have a 5-second hold at the bottom. Right, so we'll just sit all the way down with hands on, close to your butt on your heels. Thanks. All right, and then stand. When you're ready, we'll sit back down into that position and sit at the bottom. So we'll stand down for about a 5-second hold. Usually, like you'll see the kids have like 0 problem with this. As you get older, the problems tend to arise. Another thing that you can do if you have weights around you, another thing you can do is hold a weight out in front of you because it acts as a counterbalance and helps you balance forward. So if I had a weight forward, you know, my thing is I tend to roll back if I'm not quite mobile enough yet. So still working on it. We're doing 5 times. Down for that 5-second hold at the bottom. If knees are a thing, and full knee flexion isn't good for you, then don't go all the way to the bottom. You're just going to be pausing, you know, wherever is okay for you. A lot of times, once your calf hits the back of your leg, once your calf hits your hamstring, there tends to be, you know, some knee pain because it does actually lever the knee open. So yeah, if full knee flexion isn't your thing, you don't have to go all the way to full flexion. Okay, all right, so let's get our hands on the ground a little bit here. What we're gonna do is sit on your butt. Sitting tall. So let's bring your left leg in and put your foot flat. And we're gonna take your right hand and put it on the floor. Right, all you're gonna do is use those 2 points. You're just gonna lift yourself up, your hips up off the floor. And then we'll switch. So it's right hand, or right leg, left hand. And then switching to left leg, right hand. All we're doing is picking yourself up off the floor here. And let's just alternate back and forth. Again, this is another one of those skills, just getting up off the floor, that kind of strength and stability. You'll also probably recognize this if you've done Turkish get-ups and all of that. Okay, so now instead of just lifting up, you're gonna lift up and go to a knee. And that hand will go back to the floor. Shoot your leg through. Let's just stay flat. There we go. And we switch, let's alternate with that. Just coming up to a knee and getting tall. Shouldn't be put that knee on the ground. The leg that's straight in front of you is going to be the one that you kneel on. Face forward. This way. Whatever foot is flat on the floor, that foot should stay glued to the floor. Right? Even as you pick up, when you put your knee under you, that front foot has not moved. So we switch. Whatever foot is flat on the floor stays glued to the floor. Nice, got the wrong hand down. There you go. Put your knee under you. Come up to a knee. Bring it back under you. Yeah, good. Come up to a knee. Good. Okay. All right, so we're good there. So we're gonna do a little, what time is it? 6:20, okay. So we're gonna do a 5-minute circuit here. You can do it in a small area. What we're gonna do is 3 different movements. We're gonna do that get up, so like that kind of get up. It's like a Turkish get up without weight, basically. So if you're doing a Turkish get up, you'd be holding weight here, coming up to a knee, that kind of stuff. So all you're doing is coming up to your knee and all the way up to stand. Take that same leg back. Bring it out in front of you. Then we're gonna switch sides. So we'll do 3 each side there. And then a shoulder crawl, which is laying on your back. You're gonna kind of think of using your shoulder blades as feet. So as one foot is pulling down and back, you're rolling to your other side. And you put that shoulder blade down, that foot down, and roll to that side and pull back. Okay? So you'll need probably just 10 feet of space here. But most important thing here is that you're lifting your hips up off the ground, using those shoulders as feet, shoulder blades as feet. Think of yourself as crawling under the car to change the oil or I don't know, get a ball that, to what? Or to play hide and seek under a bed. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's the shoulder crawl. Then you're just gonna roll over and do a foot and hand crawl, so your knees will be off the floor here. And we just go forward and back, whatever kind of space you have. Back should be nice and flat like a tabletop. All right, so we got get up, shoulder crawl, and foot hand crawl. We're just gonna go for 5 minutes, alternating through all of those. All right, so you won't need much space. We've got 4 of us here in the family room, so let's go ahead and I'll start a 5-minute timer. And rolling through 3 things: shoulder crawl, basically Turkish get up without weight, and foot and hand crawl. All right, so we're gonna go for 5 minutes, and we're off. On the get up, let's do 3 each side. Remember, whatever foot is bent and whatever foot is flat on the floor is gonna stay flat right where it is. So again, we're not using any weight here. The focus isn't on speed. The focus is on being nice and smooth and controlled, feeling nice and mobile, like free in what you're and how you're moving. The shoulder crawl might be the tricky one. It's not easy to instruct remotely, I guess.
Same shoulder, same leg?
No, I wasn't going to say anything about the shoulders or legs. It's actually opposite shoulder and leg.
What?
So if your right shoulder blade is pulling down, your left foot is going to be on the ground. But it usually works out better if you just don't think about it. You'll figure it out. If you want to try to go forward too, you can do that. I guess forward would be toes walking in the direction of your toes. What you might notice with this too is it really opens up your upper back, gives you a nice thoracic spine mobility. Could we bend your knees, put your knees close to the ground, but not on them. Good. There you go.
We do the stand-ups again, maybe.
Okay, we're about 2.5 minutes in, so let's do one more round of get-ups, shoulder crawls, and foot hand crawls. I don't know about everybody else, but I've got a little bit of a sweat going here. Feels kind of nice to get moving. On the shoulder crawl, the more stuff you can get off the ground, the less drag there's going to be. So if you really roll to that shoulder and pull down while your other shoulder is reaching up and reaching for the ground behind you, turn to that other side. So you should be doing less pushing with your feet and more kind of pulling with your shoulder blades. If you have long hair, probably figured it out, but it might get eaten as you go along.
That's why I put it
Okay, about 1 minute left here. We're just finishing up a crawl.
I struggle with crawl.
Thirty seconds left. With your knee first. 10 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. That's all we got. Okay, thanks for joining us and doing a little recovery work there. If you're looking for a kind of a more get your heart rate up type of workout and getting a sweat kind of workout, there will be a 5:30 circuit with, I think Jesse is today. So there'll be a 5:30 circuit with Jesse today. Otherwise, hope you guys have an awesome day. This should be a nice light start, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Brian.
You bet. See you, Kelly. See you, Ted.
Yeah.